coming to you live and direct from the great state of Florida. And today we are going to talk about the best deal in the history of America on a vehicle under $25,000. You're not even going to believe this. It's unprecedented. I did a lot of research to figure this stuff out, and it's very interesting. So let's get started. I never thought I would say this because I'm a dealer, and dealers traditionally don't like hybrids or electronic vehicles because when the battery goes on them, you pay between $1,000 to $26,000 to replace the battery if it's not under the manufacturer's warranty. And we're in the state of Florida, so the battery gets extreme heat and it shortens the life of the battery. Now, I did a video on EV vehicles, okay, why dealers hate them. And I discovered that the government is giving out a $4,000 vehicle credit on the EV if it's for $25,000 or less. So then I started looking into this, and the reason I started looking into this is because Hertz announced that they're taking almost a $400 million loss on their Tesla fleet. Let me repeat that again. They ordered 100,000 Teslas a few years back. The CEO did, who's, by the way, no longer with the company. Imagine that. They ordered 100,000 Tesla. From what I can pull up, they've taken delivery of about 35,000 units, give or take. They announced that they were selling 20,000 units back in January, and then they just recently announced that they're moving another 10,000 units. They probably got 5,000 wrecked, so they're basically moving their entire electronic vehicles. So when you go on the Hertz site and you look at the Teslas for sale, the majority of them are over $25,000, which is ridiculous, okay? The company Hertz, they're hurting. And the CEO who made this decision is no longer there, like I just said. Now, the government is giving you a $4,000 credit if you buy the car for $25,000 or less. Well, Hertz is selling the cars. They're starting at about $29,000 and they're going up, to about $40,000 depending on how new the vehicle is. So that puts you out of the $4,000 credit. Now, I looked into how the government gives the credit. By the way, they've given over $500 million in credits on used EVs. And when I looked into it, this is what I came up with here. In order to qualify, you must be an individual who bought the vehicle for personal use and not for resale. You cannot be the original owner. You cannot be claimed as a dependent on another person's tax return. You may not have claimed another used clean, that's what they call it, the used clean vehicle credit, in the 3 years before the purchase date. They also have some more under $150,000 for your annual income for a married filing joint, $112,000 for a head of households, and $75,000 for all others. Okay, so in order to qualify, you have to meet those. Now, it also has to be from a dealer to an individual. So when they sell the car, the dealership has to give the credit through the dealership, okay? So you can get the best deal because the EVs have dropped over 50% value in 1 year. You can buy, it's 2024 right now, you can buy a 2022 for $25,000 or less. Now, Hertz just started selling these on a wholesale level and on a retail level. They're charging a lot of money. If you're patient and you wait and you give it a couple of months, they're going to drop the prices because they have to. They need to move them and to get rid of them. It's ridiculous that they're asking over $25,000 for the units that are at least 2 years old because they don't qualify for the clean vehicle credit program from the government. So in theory, you're only going to pay $25,000 or less to get the $4,000. So you can go to a dealership, or I believe you can go directly to Hertz. They're a rental car company, but I do believe that they have a dealer's license. So you want to go in there and you want to say it has to be $9,995 in order to qualify for the program. It has to be at least $1 less than the $25,000. Then you want to make sure that the dealership applies the credit to you. So you're actually getting the car for $21,000 now instead of $25,000. Now the tax tag and title is going to run you roughly about $2,500. So if they bring the $25,000 down to $21,000, and then you add about $2,500, you're going to be out the door for about $22,500 on a vehicle that's 2 years old. Now, what makes this the best buy in the history of America? Tesla gives, I'm not making this up, Tesla gives an 8-year warranty on their battery, or 120,000 miles, whatever comes first. So if you buy a 2022 Tesla, let's say with 30,000 miles for $24,995, you ended up getting it out the door for $22,500. So just to recap this again, Tesla gives an 8-year warranty or 120,000 miles, whatever comes first. So if you buy a 2022 Tesla, okay, you get until 2030 warranty on the battery. That is unmatched. It's unprecedented. I've never seen anything like this before in my life. Can you imagine buying a car? Okay, when the pandemic hit, Teslas were bringing $10,000 over book. Let's use a Tesla Model Y. Let's say they were selling them for $70,000. Let's say you bought one for $70,000. You had to buy it for $80,000 or $90,000 because the demand was so high on it. Okay, so you go from $70,000 or $80,000 on a car. You fast forward to to 2024. You can buy it 2 years old for less than 50 cents on the dollar. You get a 6-year warranty on the battery. Think about that. You don't get any kind of warranty from any other manufacturer that's anything even close to that. So in closing, I just want to remind everybody about, let's go back to the pandemic where a Tesla was, here's MSRP, this is how much you paid for it, okay? That was in like 2020 or 21, whenever the peak of it crashed. Now, let's say that the people who buy the new Teslas or any EV, they buy it at MSRP. In 1 year, it's worth half of what you paid for it. So you can buy it a year old in order to get, in theory, you want it 2 years old. If you buy it 2 years old, you get the $4,000 credit. You have to buy that from a dealership to an individual. And the dealership is the one responsible for filling out the paperwork. You want to get it in writing that you are going to get the $4,000 credit from either them doing the paperwork correctly the first time, or they give it to you if they drop the ball on it. Either way, you want to make sure that you get that $4,000 credit. So you're buying a 2-year-old vehicle that has a 6-year warranty on the battery, or 120,000 miles, whatever comes first. That is the best deal that I have ever seen. I'm even thinking about Tesla makes the Y model. If you get it with the long range, which gives you about 300 miles per charge, it has 540 horsepower if you get it all-wheel drive. Can you imagine buying something like that for $25,000 before the clean credit break from the government? That's just unbelievable. That is an unbelievable deal, and that is part of the auto market crash. I think that cars are going to continue to get cheaper. The exception to that, cars that are $10,000 and less, they're not going to drop that much because they're in such high demand. People are getting all the repossessions. If they have 2 cars, they're dropping down to 1. If they've got a $1,000 car payment, they'll just turn the car back in, and then they'll wait till they get their income tax, or they'll borrow money or something, and they'll go buy a car for $5,000, $7,000. That way they don't have a payment. All they have to do is make their insurance payment on the vehicle. So I hope that if you're in the market for a car that's $25,000 or less, that you'll seriously consider that. And love making these videos. Please like, click, subscribe, and I'll keep putting my 14 years of experience to work for you. So once again, this is Lil Joker, Auto Broker.